PJ, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks, Emma.
You're taking part in the Super Venture Forum. What do you feel excited about, and in terms of what you're hoping to hear over there, and what do you hope to glean from the conference?
Yes, I think that venture capital as an asset class has really evolved dramatically over the past 5-6 years in Europe. Primarily due to the fact that we've finally started to deliver, and not only deliver as expected, we're actually outperforming even the US as a geography, and that is tremendously important for what the level of interest we can garner from LPs, who are the sort of principal audience here. And that's been now confirmed time and time and again from various data sources, and just over the past 24 months, I think that Europe alone contributed to like 6 out of the 8 biggest IPOs in the world.
So it's exciting times in Europe for VC.
Indeed. Yeah.
Properly established, which means that you're being listened to, so what have you got to say?
Yes, I think that one of my favorite examples is that 15 years ago we invested in software companies that were trying to sell software to banks. Now we invest in companies that are replacing banks altogether. That's 1,000 times a bigger market opportunity, and it really opens the market for entrepreneurs who can attack huge markets that aren't necessarily global, but they can be huge even on a regional scale. And just as a point of reference, the world's largest bank, being HSBC, they only have like 1.5% global market share on their biggest product. So it's a huge, and it's a very fragmented market that the disruptors, entrepreneurs can go at it and really create substantial value.
And there are quite a few areas like that that were quite institutionalized. One being perhaps medicine we talked about.
Yeah, medicine, perhaps even more so the med tech, the entire the structure, the processes, everything that goes along with delivering biology and molecules into your body. But all those things represent, massive trillion-dollar markets that are now open for a different way of delivery and interacting with patients and the entire care system.
You sound very upbeat and excited despite the sort of economic environment we're in. You think there are real opportunities there despite having to navigate those choppy waters?
Absolutely. I think it's the only thing you can be certain about is that when markets go a little up and down, the only strategy that actually works is growth over the long haul, as long as you have patient capital on your side, which I think venture capital community has been working with LPs for decades and much longer in the US compared to what we have experienced here. And they know that being patient capital really pays off, that can really change the return profile.
We heard from Gillian Tett, author and journalist, earlier today, and she talked about the rise in populism and how that's happening despite that growth you talked about, which is quite unusual and provides a bit of a tinderbox. What are your thoughts on that in terms of how the finance industry approach that?
Well, I think that on the policy side, you have to make sure that you build for everyone, that you build products that are not only catering to a few select people with thick wallets, because then you're up for a much bigger problem way down the line. But I think, at least in the developed countries across Europe, I think there is a very sound foundation on how to make the scientific gains and also the financial gains spread more evenly through fair taxation and the likes.
And also trying to, I suppose, support products and companies that are providing accessible, useful services.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, just as an example, I was on the board of Spotify for 9 years, and that was a company that addressed a market where every single consumer that had some sort of music industry had to pony up $400 or $500 50, 60 pounds per year in order to get maybe 5, 6 CDs. Now you pay like a 9 euros a month, and you get everything you can ever dream of in terms of music, and the music consumption consequently has gone up, and the artists are now also seeing increasing revenue to them as the middleman, the record labels who were basically flogging them back in the past. They are sort of getting increasingly out of the picture. So the consumers get a better deal and the artists get a better deal. I think that's how many markets will evolve over time.
How difficult is that, though, when consumers are that demanding? Because it is a complete sea change, isn't it, in terms of them being in the driving seat?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's difficult, because now, as opposed to maybe 20 years ago, you can measure pretty much everything. So you can measure intent, you can measure what people want to do and consider doing, and you can develop a product that does that accordingly. That was much harder just 20 years ago, and that's also probably why the incumbents will never get this, because they don't have that ingrained in their systems.
And so the proliferation of data means we can have more bespoke products much more easily. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been really fascinating to hear your insights. I hope you enjoy the conference.
Thanks, Emma.